Hello and welcome to the Photography Club of Term 2 2020. I'm very excited, as I said in the classroom. I just really am excited. And I'm going to make this recording. I made it this morning before the club, just in case something glitches during our live session, and just to give you a chance to see it afterwards as well if you need to. So, I'm going to run through kind of what the expectations of the club are and then our topics for today. So I'll leave you to read the full PDF that's attached there, but basically I really want to help you choose to take better photos. So when you're taking a photo and you're going, let me take my photo, whether it's with your camera or whether you're taking your phone out and want to quickly take a photo, you're maybe just thinking about composition, light, things just a little bit more consciously than just picking up and hitting snap. Okay, so we'll meet on Wednesday afternoons at 2, Google Classrooms where everything is going to be. If you're here, then you already know that. And we'll come on to the Google Meet as well. But we're not going to do lots of things in the live session except really get some feedback from you. So, and as I said, you don't need a DSLR, but it is helpful if you've got one or have access to one. Okay, there's a nice picture of a fly. So we'll start each lesson by looking at photos that you've submitted the previous week, discuss if anything comes up, and go through that, share the notes in the worksheet of the day, like I'm doing now, and then decide what's your homework for the next week, which is in the worksheet. Okay, and of course, if you got any questions during the week, just pop them in the Google Classroom in anywhere, onto the stream, onto the assignment, doesn't really matter. I'll just keep checking in there just to kind of get some of the ideas as you're going along. And there's a photo of London. Okay, so today's session, the first session, is about aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And these are the only three things that control how much light is getting captured on your camera. I'm not talking about adding flashes or reflectors or any external lighting. On the camera itself, those are the only three things you get to choose. Aperture, how big that hole is that the light comes in on. Shutter speed, how quickly does it take that photograph. And ISO, sort of how sensitive the film or the sensor is. Sort of, as I said, there's some technical things. Okay, right, so let's start off with aperture. Now, your aperture is how big this hole is that the light's coming in on. So you might choose quite a small hole, that will be less light, and obviously you'll get a darker photograph. Or if you make the light big, then you're going to have lots more light in, and the photograph's going to be brighter. So I'm going to show you here where, hopefully this comes out, if you're looking at the shot today, can you see that little hole over there is a certain size? And I might say, actually, let's make that, you can make it bigger and smaller. There we go. Making it small, less light, be more like that dark tree on the left. Or there's the whole thing and say, actually, let's make this a whole lot bigger, and that's going to be quite a bright photograph. So that's what your aperture is. And as I say, that you might use it apart from how much light. It's also an artistic thing that we'll go into depth of field in a later session, but if the hole's really small, then there's going to be a lot in focus, like the scene that I set up in my classroom. Or if you make your hole really big, less is going to be in focus, and that's normally good for portraits, because Okay, so that's what aperture is. If we then look at what shutter speed is, also another way, as I said, of how much light you're letting into your camera, that's how quickly the photo takes. So we could take it and it could be really quick, and I wonder how well this will come out. Let's not let it hunt, and let's see. Okay, there it took the photo quite quickly. Then we could say, let's make the photo take for a longer time. Let's actually move this in here, and maybe you can see when I'm doing it to go, we're taking our photo, so let's just do that first example again, and maybe I've got a bit soft. We can say I'm going to take it quite quickly. Okay, so I took it quite quickly. Open, close. Don't even see it happen. Maybe you can do that. And you see the shutter speed's going quite quickly. Now let's take it for a second. So it's going to open, stay open for a second, and then close. So let's see that in action over here. So you can actually hear it's taking a good second to open up the shutter and then take the photograph. Now let's really play around here. In a DSLR, it's moving that mirror aside as well. So when you take it, there, it's moving the mirror away, opening it for a second. Whereas if we took it for quickly, 4,000th, you're going to see it's going to happen quite quickly. Yeah, very quick. Okay, so there we go. That's what's happening on shutter speed. And apart from how bright it is, the shutter speed, as you can see there, you can see the dark tree, the bright tree, but it's also allowing you something, maybe the movement there. So you can see the picture of the waves. The first photo is taken quite quickly, 1/6 of a second, and that's up on the Wild Coast. And in the second photo, I've left the shutter open for a full 10 seconds, and then it's capturing these waves in the clouds for that amount of time. So that's maybe artistically how we'll use it. The last bit, and how you can choose how bright and light something is your ISO. And for the ISO, I can't really show you, except to say it's sort of how sensitive the film is. So if you have a really low number, then it's not that sensitive, but your detail is going to be a lot better. If you have a high ISO, you're going to let in you're going to be more sensitive to that light, and the picture's going to be brighter, but the detail is a whole lot worse as well. Okay, so your key takeaways. 3 controls that you got to choose how bright your image is. Got your aperture, how big the hole is that's taking the photo. You've got your shutter speed. For your shutter speed, how quickly is it taking that photograph? And thirdly, your ISO, how sensitive is it to light? But as I say, the camera gets it wrong. Even look at these pictures of the trees. Which one's right? You're going to have to choose. Do you want the tree to be nice and the right exposure, or do you want the background? So you're always going to be choosing these things. Now, your homework's to take 2 photos, or if you've got a DSLR, to take 4 photos. On a phone, unfortunately, you can't really change your aperture. You can't choose the size of that hole. It's doing it for you, and it doesn't actually make much difference. So the only thing on your phone you're going to be able to choose is your shutter speed. But please take a photograph that's on a short shutter speed, a quick one, and then take one that's a long shutter speed. And you're going to have to submit those on Classroom. The assignment will be up there. For those with a DSLR, please play around with your aperture, and you're going to move into either manual mode to do that, or into aperture priority on your dial there. And just take one. We're just seeing how do you change those, what effect does it have. I really want you just to take one photo with a quick shutter speed and see, hey, it's a bit too dark. Take one with a long shutter speed. Oh, it's a little bit too bright maybe. And on your phone, you'll just need to go to pro mode or download one of the many camera apps that are out there. I tried a few, none of them stuck out as being really, really good. Please share which ones work for you. And then the third question is going to be the last question of every week. When and how would you use these things creatively? When would you choose to use a long shutter speed or a short shutter speed? When would you choose to have an aperture that's letting in lots of light, or maybe letting in less? So that's going to be your last takeaway. Is just cool, figure out how to do it technically, and then that'll allow you to think, when I want to do this more artistically, how do I do that? That is week 1 in a nutshell. Since I'm recording it this morning, I look forward to seeing everyone this afternoon. Goodbye.